This experience literally devours your energy, your life force, and your soul. This experience of being with a narcissist who has taken more than you have to give will take everything from you, and they won't feel apologetic at all about any of that, because their hunger wound is an insatiable appetite. It's a bonfire that needs everything for themselves. They're self-centered. They have no inner resources intact that allow them to actually consider the needs of other people. They have nothing inside of them that sees that other people matter as much as they do. Other people to them are pawns, they're objects, things to be used and discarded. If you allow yourself to be used and discarded by a narcissist, you will have given away the most precious moments of your life. So what do you do when you can't handle living in a narcissistic love relationship anymore? Well, one of the important things to do is to identify what this relationship is removing from you. This experience of being abused by a narcissist, whether it's physically, psychologically, spiritually, emotionally, or financially, is devastating to your well-being. It's devastating to your physical body. It's devastating to your immunity. It's removing your ability to know yourself. It's removing your ability to have time and presence and peace, and it will take away your longevity and your ability to thrive. You will begin disconnecting your emotions, your feelings, and your needs until the point where you won't even know what you feel anymore, what you need anymore, and how to meet those needs for yourself. When we're with narcissists who are hurting us, what happens is our survival mechanism kicks in, and we begin suppressing our emotions, our truth, our feelings, our needs. We begin falling silent. We begin leaving our lives in fear. We're afraid to spend too much money. We're afraid to stay out too long. We're afraid that we're going to be judged for gaining too much weight. We're afraid that anything we do is going to make that person fly off the handle. It can be any number of things that can upset a narcissist. And when you're focused on upsetting someone else, you're not focused on what's fair to you. You're not focused on your own experience, what you've gone through in life. Maybe there are things from childhood that are reflecting in this relationship. Maybe that's the time when you should be focusing on being able to heal those pains from the childhood experiences that you've had. But you're not going to be able to when you're living with a narcissist and being controlled by a narcissist, because they won't allow you to heal. They are not healed people. They're not in touch with their emotions and their truth. They enjoy finding their power externally. So if they can make you cower in fear, they feel stronger than you. They feel better than you. And this gives them their sense of identity. In the meanwhile, you're losing your ability to feel your identity. Your identity has become a servant, a slave, someone to be mistreated, someone who will never be good enough. And that could be reflecting childhood trauma of your own. Let's just say, for instance, you were never good enough to one of your parents, and now you found yourself in a love relationship where you'll never be good enough to that person either. And you're constantly trying to do everything that you can to show what a good person that you really are. And you are. You're a beautiful person, but they don't want you to be seen that way. And the more that your beauty shows, the more that they have to minimize you, because inside of themselves, they are feeling so insecure and inadequate that they don't like being compared to other people who are truly beautiful from within. But that is a trauma and an experience for the narcissist to fix. Identifying what is fair to you and separating that from what the narcissist is inhabiting and controlling you with is very important. It's important to be honest with yourself about what's really happening. After all, you've spent so much time ignoring, suppressing, and making up stories for this person to yourself and others that simply weren't true. in order for you to survive it. So you have to really get honest with yourself about how this person treats you. Let's just pretend that if you had cameras in your house and you were watching how this person was treating you, how they were making you feel, how they were treating those around you, maybe your children, your animals, your friends, your family. Pay attention to how this person is treating you, and you'll understand from an objective standpoint whether or not that's fair to you. If you think it's fair, then that's exposing that there's some deep trauma inside of you that needs to be dealt with, and some deep manipulations that have been implanted in your mind. No matter what happens to any human being on this planet, no one deserves to be controlled and mistreated by another human being. I want you to take yourself through a process of really analyzing everything that this person does, and analyze this person's intentions, because oftentimes people who are abusing us can manipulate us and confuse us with good deeds and gifts. Let's take, for instance, someone hurt you really badly, and then the next minute said something really nice to you, or bought you something, or took you somewhere. But they didn't apologize. They didn't actually come with a sincere heart and tell you how sorry they were. Or maybe they did come to you with a sincere heart and they told you how sorry they were. But the thing you need to pay attention to is whether or not they continue this practice. Do they keep repeating this pattern of hurting you and then giving to you and then hurting you? If that is happening in your life, then what you're going to see is their way of keeping power over you and manipulating you. Those gifts, those words are meaningless unless they're followed up by change and action. They need to be changing how they're treating you. They need to be showing up for your feelings, truly caring how you feel, being more empathic. And when they're empathic, they will change, because they will feel what you're feeling, and they will feel remorse, and they won't ever want to do that to you again. So if you see somebody who's repeating this pattern and you are confused, be confused no more. Understand that they are controlling you through manipulations, and they have worked into your mind a confusing pattern so that you can't get ahead and become very clear on exactly what's happening. This is a common theme with narcissists. They will destroy you and then give you something. They're trying to buy your affection. They're trying to buy your forgiveness. And then they have a very strong expectation that you never bring it up again. It's like hush money, if you will, or a hush gift or hush experience. Because now you're the bad person if you ever bring it up. If you ever bring up how they made you feel, they will say, but look at all these things I did to show you that I feel sorry. But they don't really feel sorry. This is just their way of controlling you and manipulating your mind. Part of the abuse that we go through when we are in love relationships with narcissists is that we are taught to be responsible for them and their lives and their happiness. And so it's really important for you to begin to disconnect your mind and heart from feeling responsible for them in their lives and in how their lives turn out. They really do a number on training us to feel sorry for them, to feel like they have the weight of the world on their shoulders, and we're the only thing that helps them keep it going. Of course, this is not true, because narcissists don't feel anything for anybody. We're all objects that are to be used by them and discarded at their free will. So don't fall for that manipulation mind tactic. It's super important for you to understand this, because as you start to leave, they will trigger that guilt feeling. The victim will feel very guilty of leaving that narcissist behind, or not feeling focused on their well-being and focusing on your own. You'll feel very guilty because you'll start stressing, what are they going to do if this happens? And what are they going to do if that happens? And oh gosh, I feel so bad because, this or that might happen. But trust and believe, they're not going through that process with you. They're not worried about what's going to happen to you. They're worried about themselves. So I want to empower that for anybody who really needs to hear that. If you're in a position where you're with a narcissist and you have a feeling that this person cares about you, but just really does not understand how to work with you, then you could approach the conversation with that person in a way that helps them understand that you have feelings and needs, and that you're bringing it to them in a loving way to see if they might help you with those feelings and needs. And the way that you do that is by saying, hey, my feelings are this, my needs are this, my boundaries are this. I expect to be treated a certain way. I expect you to respect me and love me and not make me afraid of you. If you set up a relationship that way, you have a better chance of knowing right off the bat whether someone is willing to meet those requirements to be with you. Even a narcissist might be willing to do that right in the beginning, where they're willing to meet those requirements. And those requirements allow you to have an open dialogue over time that allows you both to develop. They're coming to you with their needs and requests, and their needs to be respected, and vice versa. Notice in this scenario, neither person is trying to minimize themselves in order to manipulate a situation and get the other one to change. It has to be two sovereign individuals that are both of equal power and deciding that they have mutual respect and want to learn from one another and grow with one another. That's how, and to make the changes in yourself that can help the relationship without betraying yourself and betraying your needs and your own internal truth. And if you want to understand more about why the narcissist was attracted to you, check out the link above. So as you're going through this internalization process of really uncovering whether or not this relationship is actually healthy for you emotionally, psychologically, spiritually, it's important for you to establish new boundaries depending on the relationship and whether or not this relationship with the narcissist is violent or aggressive or manipulative in any way will depend upon what type of boundaries you need. The scenario of how you expect to be treated. If you set up a boundary and you know your self-worth and you love yourself and you say, I love myself so much that I'm not going to allow you to hurt me anymore. In fact, I love you so much that I'm not going to allow you to be this vicious, narcissistic person in my life, because I think that you deserve to grow and become a better human being. And in order for that to happen, I'm going to remove myself from your life so that you have a chance before you die to really fix yourself and look at yourself so that you won't hurt me or anyone else again. True unconditional love is very important, but unconditional love does not require us to stay with that person. It doesn't require us to even be in contact with someone. Unconditional love is something that you can feel in your heart forever, but self-protection and setting boundaries can keep you alive and give you your life back. Of course, if you are dating or with someone who has violent or aggressive tendencies, you're going to need a no contact situation. You're going to need to cut ties completely, to turn away from that scenario, and to make yourself completely unavailable for this person. Remember that you're not responsible for this person's growth or life. That is this person's job. It's not your job to put up with bad behavior. It's not something that's fair to you. And it's not something that's good for you. It can actually affect your immunity and your health, and it can really affect the decisions that you make because of that. And it's not your job. Your job is to focus on your own life and your own development. Feel no remorse or guilt about that. If you want to live a healthy life, this is imperative. Hi everybody, join me at Patreon, where I'm creating a safe space where you can begin really understanding yourself from an emotional level, understanding how to process the experiences of your life, and how to really live in your truth and in the seat of your power. I hope you'll come and join me for the twice-a-month calls I'm going to be having. And I'm going to be sending out exclusive weekly videos to my Patreon supporters. Become a part of a growing, emotionally supportive community.
I hope to see you there.
Another thing to realize is you cannot change anybody. There are people who have lived in these relationships for far too long thinking that they could change other people. So how much of this do you share when you have gone through this analyzation process and you've uncovered how you feel and how they're treating you? Well, it really depends. If this person is physically abusing you or has the capacity to be physically abusive or has made threats in the past that they might harm you in any way, then it's not safe for you to share any information with them about your new interest in changing the experience of your life. They could very much use this information against you. They may feel threatened and not show it and end up using and manipulating you with that information. So you have to be very savvy when it comes to analyzing the situation on whether you tell a narcissist that you're no longer in love with them and whether or not you feel it's safe to share that information with them. Let's say you're in a situation where you are financially constrained. Maybe you don't have your own money. Maybe you have a difficult time figuring out where you're going to go, how you're going to get out of the house. If you're not in a scenario with somebody who is violent or aggressive or has power-hungry ways of controlling you, then you may be able to establish a safe zone for yourself where it's your private sanctuary, your private place where you can have a boundary. You can have a locked door. No one steps into that space except you. It's your safe zone. That would be good for a very short time. I wouldn't recommend doing that for very long, as short as possible, so that you can begin establishing your own energy system apart from this person. Your own mind can start to let go of that relationship and really think about yourself and your plan and really start moving forward with making decisions and plans for your own life. Again, if you're in a violent scenario, if you're in a scenario where there's threats, where there's aggression, where this person even has a capacity for that, it is not safe for you to stay. Even if you need to go to a battered person's shelter, then I recommend that. In fact, when I was a kid, I lived in a battered women's shelter for 6 months. And I will say this, it was actually a nice experience. We met some amazing people and their children. The shelter was really nice. It felt like a safe place, and we were able to think clearly and really start over again. So I would recommend that if that scenario makes sense for you. As you begin analyzing everything, it's important to understand when it's time to let go, when you've had truly enough. Relationships are here to help us learn and grow. And sometimes we've learned enough. We've learned enough from this person. We see a pattern repeating and we awaken to that pattern and we realize, oh, this pattern is dysfunctional. It mirrors a pattern I once knew in my life. This mirroring pattern is showing me that I have work to do on myself, that I was hurt by this person a long time ago in the same way that now I'm being hurt by this person. It doesn't mean that you should stay with that person and work that out. It means you should go and that you should do the work inside of yourself to process your emotions, to grieve those experiences, to get in touch with what you repressed so that you can recover yourself emotionally and have your full emotional intelligence intact. Your emotional intelligence system and your sensory system is a part of your wisdom brain. You will be able to predict people's behaviors. You'll be able to red flag people who are lying to you, who are trying to trick you and deceive you. You'll be able to spot manipulations, and you will be a lot less easier to be manipulated because of your kindness. Don't be afraid to see that the relationship was there, not for you to stay in it for a lifetime, but for you to learn something about yourself, for you to actually seize upon an opportunity to get through something that really hurt your soul and to grow from that and heal from that. And once you awaken to this magnified experience of, I'm so sick of this pattern repeating itself in my life, it's time to do that work to heal it so you can close that gap within you and that pattern stops repeating. You stop attracting people who want to hurt you in those same ways. You see, until we really go through accepting the experiences that we've gone through and really understanding how they affected us, we will keep experiencing these patterns. We'll keep attracting people that will hurt us in the same ways. So it's important to realize if you're feeling this overwhelm and you can't do this anymore, what is it that you can't do anymore? Where is it coming from? What can you learn from it about yourself? Because everything's inside of you. What this person did to you, at some level, you allowed this person to do to you. Why? Why did you allow this person to do this stuff to you? I'm not blaming you. I'm asking you. Go inside. Communicate with your truth. Your body will answer you, I promise. Ask your physical body to tell you the answers. Say, why did I allow this person to hurt me? Why did I allow this person to treat me in these specific ways? Your body will have answers for you. Your emotions will tell you the truth. Your feelings will be released. The tears may come up, and the healing will begin. You don't have to keep going through this experience. It was here for you to learn and grow through. No matter how long you've been in this pattern, let it go. Do the processing work, and your entire life will transform into a new experience because you no longer need to keep repeating the old experience because now you've learned from it. A lot of times when we start to pull out of the lives of narcissists, they'll start to panic because we are like their precious resource. We're the ones that serve them so well. We know them so well. We are perfect little slaves to them. They have done so much work to manipulate us and get us right where they want us and control us and keep us down. So when they see you ready to go, when they see you making decisions to leave them, some of them will go crazy and they will just get very aggressive. That's when you're going to see a huge manipulation campaign. I love you so much. I can't live without you. If you leave, I don't know what I would ever do. I might hurt myself. They really try to manipulate the reality. But what you need to understand is that they'll never hurt themselves. They only hurt other people. Don't let anything that they say keep you from forging forward. It's like you've been in this castle of hell, right? And then right when you're almost out the door escaping it, all the demons come to the door and they're like, no, you can't leave, you can't leave, you can't leave. But the minute you're like, no, I'm breaking away from this, I'm going. I'm believing in myself, I'm going ahead, and I know that I'm going to get out of here no matter what. And you walk through that door and the sun in the sky, everything's sunny, the birds are out, you see a beautiful forest ahead, and the journey just opens right up to you. And then you look back and all the demons are in the castle freaking out still. It's kind of like that. Don't let them scare you. Keep going, because what's ahead of you is far better than what they're giving you. You have to let go of codependency. You have to let go of needing to please others, of needing to be validated by others. Validate yourself. Know that what you have inside of you is all that you really need. You can pray, you can put your heart out in service, but you need to be wise. You need to understand where that service is going. Is it feeding the demonic inside of somebody, the part of them that is hurting and wants to hurt others? Or are you serving someone who's truly in need? Maybe it's an animal, maybe it's a person, maybe it's the earth, maybe it's your community. You have to become wise in knowing what it is that you're serving. I hope that you will believe in yourself and you will know that even though you are feeling overwhelmed in this love relationship with a narcissist, the minute that you start working on yourself and making changes, you will feel immediately so much lighter and better and freer. I want that for you. If you'd like to share the experience that you're going through, maybe you're confused, maybe you need a little advice, leave that in the comments section below. I make videos every Friday answering people in the comments section that can help everyone evolve and know how to feel support in their healing process. I love you all so much. Be well.